Hello and welcome back to Tomb Raider Remastered. Let's play. I am today doing Sanctuary of the Scion. I'm playing Sanctuary of the Scion. Let's go. So this starts, well, you have this here. This is a little bit more verdant looking than the rather arid sort of design we've had in the previous couple of levels. But then it's immediately into this, which is, very clearly the same style, but it is a bit of a misleading opening. I'm not having the pistols right now, thank you very much. It's a bit of a misleading opening section because, save this, as we go up here, we see two things running down, and these are not mummies. They're exactly the same kind of character models as the mummies. That's a really good shot. And yes, here they've changed considerably less than the mummies between the original and the remaster. Obviously they've given them a bit of an update, but the overall design is the same. It's a lot less so than the mummies getting faces, for example. But yes, these here are Atlantean mutants, and these here are kind of guarding this area. I mean, I don't know how long they've been here, what they've actually been up to in this time, apart from walking around making really creepy bloody noises. But yes, this kind of skinless look, just all muscle and bone, will be familiar from a couple of 3 levels ago at the end of Tomb of Tehokan with the centaur, or the 2 centaurs at the end of that, which had the same design. So yes, they are the same models, same figures as the mummies, just coloured in. But it just adds a bit of variety. And yes, while those were ones that died and had been mummified and left in the city of Carmoon, these ones are alive and well. Now, I'm just going to say this straight up. In terms of level design, in terms of how it actually works, if you think about it, and again, I'm not going to get too much into it doesn't make sense, because I like the slightly daft nonsense of 90s games, but this is by far the worst in the original game, because Lara could reach that, and that's all that's needed to get to the end of the level, which is just over this side. It's that's really stupidly, though, that shouldn't be so difficult. That's Tomb Raider logic at its most daft. I do have other issues with the design, which I will bring up over the course of the level. It's not to say that I don't like this level, because most of the joy of this level is in the visual aspect. Aesthetically, it's a stunning level. It's one of the best in the game. And there's quite a lot of fun to play. But in terms of translating puzzles and stuff into kind of good gameplay, into sort of logical gameplay. I don't mean necessarily realistic, but logical as in fully intuitive, as in you can play this and make sense of what's meant to be going on. Sanctuary of the Scion leaves more than a little bit to be desired. And I can't remember his name, but the guy who designed this level, I think he was one of the lead visual designers on the game. Might be wrong. I will correct myself on a future video if I'm wrong. But I think he was one of the lead visual designers, and this was the only actual level he designed. And you can tell that it's not... Is it Heather Gibson and someone... Whoever the two who normally do design most of the levels. Just had much more of a flair of being able to put the various elements of the levels together in a way that feels narratively satisfying. Now that mutant there was firing bits of red at us. Now, as we now know, these things explode when you kill them. The red stuff that was firing, apparently, I believe, is meant to be its own flesh, which is why they explode when they hit you. I always wonder what the hell they were, and that the idea there's, I think, it's meant to be tearing bits of itself off and firing them at you and letting them explode to hurt you, which is really repulsive. And just part of the brilliantly kind of gory, body horror-ish design of all the Atlantean stuff in this game. So yes, when I talk about the aesthetics, this is what I mean, this enormous cavern here, which is great because you can see the whole thing here. The draw distance is not what it was in the original, where you just... There's something kind of fun about the fact that a lot of it's in the dark, so it could be even bigger, but it is great to be able to see the whole massive cavern with that enormous sphinx in the middle. And also there's, they've added mist and stuff in here because it's just a huge space, so that mist would probably just appear naturally. So yeah, in terms of level structure, despite this incredible looking room, and I remember first getting it and sort of seeing that there was platforms up here and switches and all sorts, and it gives us thinking, wow, this is going to be epic, because the level does, aesthetically the level is designed to look absolutely epic. It's huge, grand, really impressive. But actually most of the gameplay is just very basic platforming. No, that wasn't the right jump, was it? You've got this Sphinx, it's the centrepiece, and you think, oh wow, that's going to play a big part, but actually most of what you do in the level is just jumping from ledge to ledge around the outside along the cave walls, and that's pretty much it. And there's just so little imagination in that compared to any other level in the game. There's no other level where the gameplay can be summed up as basically just one thing for 45 minutes or an hour or whatever. But that's what we have here. This is kind of just, jumping from ledge to ledge on high walls. You're looking to get 2 anks. And that's it, for the most part. And it's just, I don't know, like I say, the visuals alone make up for it. That's such an improvement on the Sphinx again. Look at that daft looking thing. The visuals make up for it. It's a stunning level that has some really, really memorable moments in. And that's fine, that's more than fine, that's good enough to make a good level, but I do think the actual gameplay leaves it feeling a bit empty. Now here we go, here's someone new. Those mutants we met a few minutes ago, this is one of its flying cousins. They are pretty much the same thing. They literally just can fly. Deeply unpleasant. Just wings of bare flesh. Oh, and that's one of the things that can happen. They can knock you right off your perch and... Oh god, this is going to be a long way back, isn't it? Bum. So here we are again, let's face this creature again. So, it's probably easier if I can move way over, but yeah, they have the added issue of being able to get around and obviously get up to you when you're up there. So they're a lot more manoeuvrable, but unlike our other flying enemies, the bats, these can crawl along the ground, jump at you, just like their unwinged cousins, and they're just as bloody hard to kill. So yeah, stepping up the difficulty in enemies once more. Now here we have very, very, I think it'd be very, very difficult to argue that anything in the game is a better secret than this, but this has to be the best secret in Tomb Raider 1. It's completely daft. It fits in with this level's kind of lack of intuitive gameplay and inner logic just being thrown out the window. There's an invisible ledge here for no particular reason, and there's a pair of Uzis on it. There they are, looking more like Uzis than these two splodges of pixels. Yeah, it's just daft. It's absolutely daft. It's brilliant, and this is the first invisible ledge we get. As I think I said in an earlier video, there's a point where things that are only used to get as part of secrets in the first game end up being used as standard gameplay. Whoa, my, that's a long drop. End up being used as standard gameplay in later games. Sometimes wonder whether they actually included these kinds of things to test these sorts of things out, to see how people would find them, to see if they would work. Anyway, I'm going to use these Uzis because I'm not going to get much chance for a while otherwise. And there's two of these flying gits to kill off. They do like flying into walls. The remaster didn't get rid of some of the terrible glitchiness of the original game. Uzis are enjoyably fast at killing everything. So yeah, back down to the bottom, because on our way to get that to get those Uzis, there was a switch which I've pulled, and it opened a door down here. So this is where we find our first Ankh. There are two Ankhs, and they're both very kind of similar in how they're stored, I suppose would be the word. They're both in rooms, very similar looking rooms, behind big doors, and they're both guarded by centaurs. I like that the centaurs are actually very rarely used in this game. They really are just used to be basically just used as guards. There were two guarding the Tomb of Tehokan, and there's one guarding each Ankh here. We have a key. Is it another sapphire key? Oh no, this one's a gold key. Just happens to look identical to the sapphire key. Well, there we go. Yeah, employing the centaurs as guards in the vast majority of their kind of appearances. I like that because it gives them a sort of an element of purpose, character, personality, something like that. You know, it makes them more than just simple, mindless, faceless enemies. Oh, you know, there's something slightly more. There's some thought put into it. And here it is. They take a lot to kill, and they do fire exploding flesh at you. But otherwise, they're not that. They don't. I don't think they have any kind of melee attack at all. It's just all range attacks with those things. So if you get up close to them, they can be quite easy to beat. Although don't quote me on that. Maybe they've punch you in the face with their one hand. I don't know. Maybe they kick you. But to the best of my memory, they just fire flesh that explodes. Oh, now if I remember correctly, the skyboxes here are not actually skyboxes. That is very clearly some kind of stone or whatever. This is light that's sort of filtering through from the city of Carmoon, so any light that's got into the city of Carmoon is sort of filtered through here. This looks like it might even be some kind of basic ventilation or something, which, for all my bitching about the lack of logic or realism to those skyboxes, I really like that. There's a touch of kind of detail that an area like this completely bizarre underground sphinx guarded by mutants, where the Scion is stored. An area like this is at least kind of not something that someone could just sort of stumble across. So yeah, I can appreciate that they've done that. Okay, so that's the first Ankh. Let's get our second Ankh. So one is down the bottom, and the other is up the top. There's a nice symmetry there, although again, it's not hugely imaginative. And yes, once again we have some platforming to get there, which is it's all right. It's not the most inspiring gameplay. And this is my issue with Sanctuary of the Scion. It's a really well loved level, and I do understand. Visually, it's incredible, but it just feels, the gameplay itself feels really underdeveloped. I'm gonna save this because they always kill me until I save, and then I get through fine. Yeah, the gameplay is just basic. If it was human, it'd wear Uggs. I mean, it's very, very basic. So that's our second Ankh door opened. Do we have something to kill? I don't know if we do. But we do get to die anyway. That's the important thing. And that door is all the way around there. That's actually the fourth time I've fallen and died. I didn't even show a couple of them. How about I just try and get this medipack? There we go. It's actually the safest way down. I was avoiding that because I was thinking, oh, I can't be bothered with the tricky jump to get a medipack, blah blah blah, and it turns out that was the wisest course to take. Right, so we're back to the beginning again, and we've got the same bit of platforming as I've already done. Well, very briefly anyway. Yeah, I've given my thoughts on this part of the level. We've got a flying guy up there, but seems to just be stuck in the wall. Yeah, you're not gonna kill me stuck in a wall, mate. But yeah, that's where we've got to go. So I'll carry on round to where I picked up the Uzis and then carry on. Wondering if I just should speed up this bit of the video, put some Benny Hill music on, because there's very little to say. Oh look, I'm doing the same jumps again. I suppose I should talk about the actual plot here, because while the other elements of the game are, there's a reasonable amount of exposition. I mean, Peru, we know that Peru was the tomb of Qualopec, who was one of the 3 rulers of Atlantis, and that Natla had discovered that Qualopec's tomb was somewhere by the city of Vilcabamba, and he had one piece of the Scion, so Lara went and got it, and that was all pretty self-explanatory. The second piece was rumoured to be found under the monastery, St Francis Folly. Why is that called St Francis Folly? Folly is not a monastery. And Pierre was sent there to find out if that was true, and yes, once again, Tehoken had been there, and he'd been buried with his piece of the ski. Oh, come back, you git. Yeah, that's why I said come back. Come back. There we go, not trapped in a wall anymore, are you? Okay. I'm going to save this because I'm going to make the wrong jump otherwise. So yeah, we you get the idea. Oh, there we are. There's the wrong jump. You get the idea that Qualopec and Tehoken both buried in their tombs in Peru and in Greece, and there's the suggestion that the advanced Atlantean race that they came from, helped them to set up the civilizations, the ancient Incan civilization in Peru, and Greek, and quite possibly, actually it's more suggested that it was Egyptian because of the hieroglyphs on his tomb, civilization for Tehoken. This third part of the Scion is never explained. I mean, this is the third ruler, the unjust ruler, who but nobody who's watching this doesn't know the plot anyway. This is Natla's piece. My hypothesis about this is that Tehoken took both his and Natla's pieces of the Scion to Egypt with him, and his was kept with him and buried with him when he died, whereas Natla's was given a place, this place here, so it could basically never be found. And it was guarded by Atlantean mutants. So the city of Karmoon, I'm guessing, is where Tehokan would have lived in Egypt. At least that's my theory. So this whole area is, I think we have more stone ceiling-y stuff up there. This is the area underneath the city of Karmoon where the Scion was kept for safekeeping. Yeah, you see, no melee attack. The explosion can probably kill, but no melee attack there. It's just running away from me. Bit of a wimp. Also, really not doing a great job. I mean, that's probably been stood there for millennia. Guarding guarding an Ankh. I had one job, and I came in and shooting, and he just ran away from me. I don't know. Mutated Atlantean centaurs. You just can't get those staff these days. I have another guy down here to shoot. Goodbye. So now it's time to place the two Ankhs. And find out where we're going next. That's a pretty cool shot. So with two Ankhs in place, this door down here opens up and we can head under the Sphinx. What's the safest way to get down, I wonder? Not that. Ah dear. Poor Sphinx. I think the Sphinx appreciates the remaster more than anyone. Now I've got to climb back up and goes a long way. Whee! So yeah, this room looks really complicated when you first get to it. As we see, it's actually very simple. Couple of switches, opening a couple of rooms, each having an Ankh guarded by a centaur. And lots of tedious platforming, and that's it for this main room. Now this room is arguably even more visually impressive than the other. I mean, this is enormous. There's another one. Oh, you've got the light coming through from stone. Yep, this room is... This has got to be one of the biggest sort of spaces in any Tomb Raider game. Certainly up there with Atlantis. And we have Horus. And now this is possibly Anubis, possibly Set. I think it might be Set. So Anubis is more greyhoundy looking. So I think this is Horus and Set, 'cause they were brothers, or they were related. Maybe Horus was Set's uncle or something like that. Anyway, yeah, these two absolutely enormous statues. And once again, these are a big glow up from their original brick faces, which look alright, but they're much harder to tell what they are. But there, they look fantastic. And this is a huge, huge water-filled pool, and this is only halfway down. And once again, this level lives and dies on spectacle. And this room is full of it. This is absolutely stunning room. I'll go up and get a little bit of air and then dive down and get on with it. Actually, it probably would have been just quicker to dive down given how far I had to swim up. Right, there's a switch somewhere. Took me half an hour just to get to it at this size, but there we go. Is it down here? Nope, that's a door. But impressive as this room, and the Sphinx room as well, impressive as they are, they do have a downside, which I'll get to in a few minutes. And I'm going to look right back up here. However, we have lowered the water level, so I can actually get around in there easier now. I think there's another flying mutant out there, and probably a 50-50 chance that it's trapped itself in a wall. They do that a lot. It's just popular in Atlantis. No, this one seems to be out and about. Where are you? Here, mutant. There we go. Bang. Right, now there's another switch somewhere. I can't remember where. Is it on Set's head? I think it might be. Actually, it might not be. Oh, I don't know. Let's have a look. No, but there's a medipack buried in his ear. Would you expect with Egyptian gods? They all had pickups buried in their ears. It was a requirement, I believe. I think this might have been the last level that I ever completed on Tomb Raider 1. I did not play it in order. I level skipped through and played the levels that I liked the look of, or liked the atmosphere of, because I was a kid and kids do stupid things. And so it's one I remember maybe slightly less. Oh, here we are. Yeah, I remember this enormous room here being like, oh wow, this is incredible. And it was very, very near the end of me playing Tomb Raider for the first time. I've probably completed several of the levels numerous times at this point. Now, yes, the size and scope of the level are brilliant in terms of just being impressive. Like I said, that this level lives and dies on its aesthetic, on its just impressive aesthetics. However, it does mean that to get back to the start of the level, you have to go up this ludicrous passage. It takes like a minute or so to get up. And it just goes on forever and round, and it's like This is terrible level design. This isn't fun. This is just a corridor that goes up and up and up. Yeah, bored now. Bored a while ago. Still going. There's like no thought has been put into this level design. This here is just this here is literally just completely functional. It's not got any gameplay value whatsoever. It's just like, oh shit, I've got to write down like miles below everywhere, and I want to be at the top because I had this really cool idea of like putting the exit of the level right near the beginning, because that's what you do in City of Carmoon as well. So that's there, and it's crap. Now we get to the most difficult bit of combat in the game that isn't a boss fight, because all the areas do kind of have two boss fights, like in the way that you have the Centaur and then Pierre in Greece, and there's sort of a fake one with the mummy that doesn't do anything in Tomb of Qualapec before Larson. I suppose maybe the T-Rex as well, and obviously like two in a Great Pyramid at the end. But the first of the Egyptian kind of boss fights is not a boss fight. It's just a ludicrous amount of things to kill you. Like, I'm almost dead already. These things jump on you and fire stuff at you, and all take a ludicrous amount of ammo to kill. And there we go. Every time. I've never done this on first time. You can stop firing, mate. I'm dead. Honestly, these centaurs are actually useless. They're just so bad at their job. I mean, they already killed me, but apart from that, they're really bad at their job. Missed. Yeah, the only sensible way to do this really is trying to get them down here one at a time. Then you can at least attempt to take them on. Just have the horse to go. I remember my school friend, who was the one who got me into Tomb Raider, telling me about this level with horses. And there's these horses that are really hard to kill. And I remember thinking, oh wow, killer horses, what the hell are they going to be? And of course, it turns out they're actually Atlantean mutant centaur things, which is slightly... Obviously, it's more imaginative, but it's also a bit disappointing. I imagine these like evil killer horses. I don't know why the Atlanteans bred centaur. I don't know. It's utter madness. It's part of the wonderful daftness of this game. And here's our second boss fight. Mr. Larson, who takes bog-all killing. He hadn't even finished speaking before I killed him there. It made him into a pretty boy, as opposed to this chisel-jawed grunt that he was before. Look at him now. This room here is quite big and impressive, and we're actually back to the City of Carmoon style graphics. Lots to look at in here, and bugger all in here. I mean, it makes sense, you know. It's well, I don't know. My other thing about the design of this level, and yes, this is an ongoing thing, is that entire bit that we went around, the huge, like, vast cavern with the Sphinx in it, and an even vaster cavern with Horus and Set or Anubis statues in, and, you know, guarded by all those mutants and all that kind of stuff. It's like, that's all above this. Like this bit here, this underground bit, and the bit we entered in and stuff is all actually inside the Sphinx. This is, I think. So it's like, what's all that for when the Scion's actually here? It's not even in that bit. Which just, I don't know. It's daft. It doesn't make sense even by Tomb Raider standards. This level doesn't make sense. But here we are, the third and final part of the Scion. Which looks slightly more impressive now than it did in 1996. It's had an upgrade. So, I mean, I don't know how Larson even got in there, but he did. Once again, you know, Lara went through all that stuff, and Larson just went in the back door. Oh, well, I used up almost the full 1,000 lots of Uzi ammo there. Which is fine, because, you know, you get the most out of it, because Lara's made it out of some sort of invisible exit, or maybe that was where she made it her way in. And she's bumped into these charming fellows. And Natla returns. It's really weird, like, because the FMVs are now, I mean, they've been, slightly upscaled. Yeah, they're less pixelated, so they've been upscaled, but the actual design of them and everything is still 1996, so they've gone from being like the best looking parts of the game to now very easily the worst looking parts of the game. They look so bad. I mean, Natla looks really bloody weird. And of course they just assume they've killed Lara off, having stolen her weapons and her 3 pieces of the Scion, but Lara's having none of it. You don't cross Lara Croft. I mean, I think if Natla had just sent Lara after the 3 pieces and then asked for them, Lara probably would have been happy and given them, because that's what she was contracted to do in the first place. She only plays for sport. But Natla instead stupidly tries to double cross her and tries to get her killed. And so the cowboy, the skater boy, and bald man, as they are charismatically known, I think they've killed her off, and instead of waiting to find a body, just think, oh yeah, we've definitely killed her. And we get this Bond-esque, very fun FMV. And she's knackered. Which is fair enough. So where's the boat arrived at? Well, it's arrived at the Lost Island, or the Lost Continent, or whatever it's called. We don't know much about it yet, but it's fair to guess that that's much better than the FMV, isn't it? It's fair to guess that this is Atlantis, and the bald guy has spotted that Lara was there and has dived in, and she's off, and she's come from a wall of rock. Yes, she's off in here to continue her adventure and try and get the Scion pieces back. Did I save it? I saved it, didn't I? Okay, and that's it for today. That was a lengthy level. I do like Sanctuary of the Scion despite all my criticisms. I think gameplay wise it's very basic but aesthetically brilliant, so I enjoyed that. Next time it'll be Natla's Mines. I do hope you'll join me then, and in the meantime leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe, all the buttons. All interaction really helps my channel. Thank you very much for watching.